players promoted from Overwatch White. Maze Mel is no longer playing for Northwestern, but will be entering the coaching role. So we are now bringing up Sen and Etcher into that support line, and Houdini bringing back the veteran experience from last year's purple roster. What do you think going into this match, Colin?
I think it'll be an interesting one. This meta specifically has shown to be a lot different from the previous one, especially with the armor damage reduction bug completely fixed. So tanks like Orisa, Ramatra have fallen out of favor. We've seen a lot of Diva, Zarya, and even still some Hazard and Wrecking Ball in the pro scene. So I'm excited to see what both teams will bring to the table in terms of compositions. Um, I think what we can count on is probably a Tracer. Tracer is always very good DPS, regardless of meta. So I think we'll see Tracer coming up from both sides. But I'm also excited to see if we get a Wu Yang because his damage numbers are very good at the moment. So it'd be it'd be something to look out for, especially with the traditional Lucio carry backline maybe not available due to bans.
Absolutely. Do you think this is a meta that really benefits Houdini, especially with all his veteran experience? Do you think that this map pool or this hero pool will be in his favor?
Yeah. Um, his Zarya is always a very good option, and Zarya is especially good against maybe the double flex Tracer Genji, helping out the rest of his team with bubbles. So I think we could probably count on seeing a Houdini Zarya here, and it'd probably work out pretty well for them.
Absolutely. Now let's look over at this DPS line. Dryce and Azura, for people who are familiar with the Northwestern Overwatch community, two mainstays. Dryce, commonly known for his Hanzo play, but has been playing a lot more Cassidy recently. And Azura, very well known as a flex support, over this offseason made the switch to DPS and is now the starting flex DPS for Northwestern Purple. What do you think about this?
Um, I think Azuri can get the job done. The mechanics for flex support are obviously very intense, and while it is a completely different game playing flex DPS heroes like Tracer, Genji, I've seen Azure, so I think Azure can pull it off. But it'll definitely be a matchup to watch out for the match at hand today.
Absolutely. Penguin cast notably out of this lineup. Sen and Etcher will be playing instead. Etcher, another longtime veteran of this program, recently moved up to purple as well. Commonly known, I would say, for his Lucio. Sen, a rookie this year, is the only rookie to the Northwestern Overwatch program starting in this first map. What have your thoughts been so far on Sen and Etcher?
Um, well, Etcher's obviously been um, very deservedly getting a promotion here up to the purple team. He's always been great with the communication aspect, shot calling, fight planning. So I'd say it's nothing short of deserved for him to be promoted to purple. For Sen, I'm excited to see what he can bring to the table. Obviously, you mentioned he's a rookie, so we haven't seen much of him, but his career has shown promise, and I think we can count on seeing some of that Kiri or even some of that Ana today.
Absolutely. Going into Oasis, it looks like for our first map, it'll be very interesting to see how this team comes out. Terps Academy, longtime Big Ten opponent of Northwestern. Northwestern recently leaving the big esports conference. We're very interested to see how they line up. It looks like the other side is starting to shuffle around their spectators or their roster lineup. And it will be very interesting. It looks like Azura has switched his flag over to the Spain flag. We'll see if Northwestern unites around country flags.
Yeah, very diverse roster as we can see. Three European countries represented. I'm sure Trice and Houdini can throw in a few other countries in the mix.
What countries do you think they're going to be representing?
Um, well, Houdini always had a long-standing love of soju, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him pull out the South Korean flag. Being a
Absolutely.
Asian himself, he needs to represent. As
Absolutely.
for Dryce, I'm not too sure, but I think we can count on seeing probably. Um, I don't know where he's from actually, so I'm not too sure. But it looks like we're going into the game now.
All right. It'll be interesting to see how this revamped Northwestern Purple roster faces off. It appears we see Houdini at least hovering over that Junker Queen. Dryce appears to be trolling. Still waiting for players. Oh, still waiting for players. We'll need to wait patiently. Here we go.
Initiating match.
I'm excited to see Northwestern if they pull out the Zarya comp. Zarya's a pretty good hero in this meta. So
Yep. We're going to be starting with City Center, and we're eagerly anticipating the selection of heroes. Do you think that the Zarya comp may be seen on City Center?
there's a lot of open space, so it might be a bit difficult, but I think they can pull it off. Houdini can also play right over the flanks like
One more mission, huh?
would probably be the
I'm
other,
in.
but I'm pretty sure Hazard is banned, so you might have to see
Hello.
maybe Winston.
The eye will
I
not
believe
fail.
Winston is also
The
pretty good,
hand
so
will
we'll
not
see
flinch.
We'll see what they do.
Absolutely. It appears that Escher will be starting on the Wu Yang as well. We're gonna see the Kiriko Wu Yang. Dryce will stick with his Cassidy that he's well known for. And on the side of Maryland Academy, Breezes will also be mirroring the Zarya. They'll be looking for a more speed-oriented comp with that Lucio. Looking to brawl more with that Reaper with that Genji. Breeze is taking a lot of hope early on. Cam has to get out. Houdini finds pick one. And Northwestern Purple is going to push the advantage. It looks like they'll be able to clean up pretty well.
Pretty clean fight. Running straight out of the gate. Finding some leadership hits. And forcing the
Absolutely. We're going to see these DPS from Northwestern already up to 50% ultimate share. Huge contributors in this carry fight.
How you were?
Oh my goodness. Dryce gets the first pick in this fight. And he's going to push his advantage. Escher is going to find a pick on Huntsman.
Spinning up the steps.
Oh, what a headshot from Dryce. Oh my goodness. This pressure that Dryce is putting on with the sheer damage output and the amount of first picks he's getting. He already has Deadeye. And Azura is already up to his pulse bomb as well. Pretty close to it.
Yeah, and Sun holds like slightly in the rush department, so another ultimate to look out for in this fight.
Absolutely. This ultimately is doing very well. We're kind of looking to rush down Dryce.
Yeah, so it's finds the trade for Breezes.
He might not be getting a bunch of hits, but that does chunk down a lot of damage for Breezes, but it looks to not matter. It appears that Maryland Academy will stabilize and get the point flip with 71% accrued by Northwestern.
Yeah, and just a simple squeeze and push onto Dryce just led to that entire fight win for them. Let's see what they do here.
Absolutely.
Two ultimates.
This Lucio absolutely better at tempoing, but we're gonna see if the damage output from Escher will be able to line up. Northwestern coming up with 4 ultimates. You have to imagine that they should have enough advantage in how early they're able. And you'll see that this time starting with and this should look to be a pretty easy cleanup.
That was the rush, so Maryland will have a rush coming into Oscar pushing into last fight territory.
Absolutely.
Almost 5 ultimates on the bank for Maryland. Can Northwestern hold on?
Yep. This ultimately was a pretty consequential fight for Maryland, holding on to every single ultimate through that engage.
Reverse the time.
We're gonna see early ultimates. And an early death time. Oh my goodness.
That's the ground invested from
Absolutely. It looks like Northwestern will clean up pretty easily, and Northwestern will secure round 1 of Oasis.
Wow, what a statement opening that for Northwestern. the Lucio never building a full beat, and Cam just holding on to that Blossom at the end. 2 ultimates never used by the Terps for that round.
Absolutely. Dryce really setting himself apart in his debut game for Purple, making himself the X factor in so many of those early picks and making him a prime target for their only fight win on the Maryland side.
Particle cannon online. Let's
Yeah,
run
well,
them
it looks like
over.
we'll see a Tracer swap over from Huntsman. So we'll have a more from the, I believe it was the Genji last map. So a little bit more pressure, potentially.
Absolutely. We'll see if Dryce can keep the magic up as Northwestern Purple looks to roll into Oasis Gardens.
Both teams rotating into the side rooms here, probably looking to stay tight.
Absolutely. You would think the Wu Yang in the cast.
Oh, wow, another 50 breaths.
Before I can finish my sentence, they find a pick. But Huntsman winning the duel over Azure.
Yeah,
He'll look to push the even man fight, and Cam will take down Dryce.
a little flank here from So, as this fight.
The damage from the Reapers is coming in huge to chunk down Bryce and be able to have Maryland be able to fight this closely contested area.
Yeah, if I was Northwestern, I'd start clearing out the flanks to get more space for Bryce. As absolutely, it's gonna work.
Absolutely. We'll see Azure doing a lot of work on his flank, trying to poke out, but getting checked hard by Huntsman. Huntsman is going to be taking a lot of... Ooh, and Huntsman's going to win that.
Crucial pick for Maryland, as Northwestern still just...
Yeah, you're going to see Northwestern playing a lot more spread, a lot more scrappy. Bryce is someone who, although he takes up this main angle damage dealer role, he is someone who loves to flank as well. Oh my goodness!
Azure with a 4-man pulse bomb.
A 4K from Azure, and Northwestern is going to clean up and get the point flip at 68%. What a huge play from Azure.
Yeah, and that was the rush invested from Maryland as well, so they're down to a crucial ultimate with Sen approaching his.
Absolutely. Only two ultimates invested, and Northwestern looks to be able to get on much more even footing now that they have play. They're gonna go for a quick play with Etra's ultimate. Countered by Resist's grab. It looks like Northwestern is aiming to come out on top.
Scrappy fight here, but it looks like Northwestern is coming out on top. Also, it's like Dryce here though, dropping onto the low ground. The health bars for Maryland aren't looking too hot right now. They do have a sound barrier, but are they going to contest it here?
Absolutely. Neither team is looking to push this fight any more than they have to, especially given the desire to not put the point or to fall low. It looks like LNS is going to be here.
Speed used as well, so control, and Dryce falls to the beat push.
Yep. This Lucio just so big in spacing out Northwestern's approaches. They can really just wrap that Zarya all around point and be able to collapse when they need to.
Yeah, in the last 1.5 fights though, Maryland did use 4 of their ultimates. Comes up 50% from the ground. And it's a quick hit from Huntsman onto Azure. Forging last place territory here. Let's see what Northwestern can do.
Yeah. Huntsman really making a statement on this Tracer against Azure. But we'll see if Azure can respond like he did with that massive pulse bomb.
We do have a Deadeye here. And as well as a grab. Oh, Mr. back to Lucio. Lucio is forced out. Zarya's
Oh my goodness, what a massive play from Houdini there. Catching,
out, yeah.
yep, catching 2. It looks like Northwestern will be able to stabilize on that. What a massive play getting to that Lucio.
Yeah, and that was just that one ultimate too. So we still have the Ainu, also Awen approaching 2 support ultimates here.
Absolutely. And it looks like Maryland is still building their ultimates. They'll probably build all of their ultimates except for Sound Barrier by the time that this map is over. But Northwestern should hopefully be able to clean up a lot of these fights.
We've seen a lot of early envoys. And yeah, there's another one onto Azura. Knocks down 3. Another pulse bomb. And actually finds 2. Sen does fall, but Price is there to find the trade.
And Breezes will commit the grab.
Oh, another trade. Onto Price. Onto an is low though. Has the pulse. Oh, but Etcher with
What
this
a pick.
cheeky.
What an excellent pick from Asher.
Force right here by the Etcher. And now there's the ball to touch his last fight. There's the continued rush. Sen does not have his. He's only 10% away.
Gonna see Cam TPing in. Looking to make things happen.
Oh, the team, man. Oh, but it's a pick from Price. But Red finds another. Northwestern down one still.
Cam getting free. They just cannot pin him down with his TP. He finally goes down.
Trade. They're even, but it's just Azura on the point, and they will seed it over. We'll see if they can get one more touch. After swapping over to the Lucio. Back on the point for Northwestern, but I think it won't be enough. Yep, there goes Sen.
Hunting down that Kiriko. It looks like you would think that Maryland but don't cat out Trice though.
Now Azura,
Oh my goodness! Could Trice string this? Azura finds Cam. It looks like Northwestern might be able to do this.
What an absolutely insane clutch from Dryce, finding
My
3
goodness.
kills.
Incredible stop from
Wow.
Northwestern's new DPS line. Absolute statement win there from Azura and Dryce. Showing their prowess, showing the amount of work they put in the offseason on that Cassidy and on that Tracer. What an absolute statement. Northwestern Purple will take map 1 against Maryland Academy.
Yeah, let's take a closer look at that clutch. So lethal.
Absolutely. What a flick. Just incredible work. And now it'll be on to Terps Academy to choose their next map pick. What are you thinking if you're Maryland right now?
I think the number one problem they're probably thinking of is, do we have to ban the Cassidy? Like, the hit scan was a huge problem for them, as we just saw. And they've been running a lot of double flex DPS, so it could potentially be a Cassidy ban coming out here for Terps Academy.
Absolutely. Yeah, these hero bans, we weren't able, while we were setting up production, we weren't able to really cover them. But hero bans, a relatively, would you say relatively new addition to?
Yeah, they've been in the game for, I'd say, maybe a year or 2 by now, and just recently introduced into competitive play. But I think it does introduce a lot of variety into these comps and gives teams a lot more agency into the comps they want to play and they don't want to play against.
Absolutely. And play versus rules. Each team is able to ban 1 hero. I am unsure of the order. I believe Northwestern will get first ban, but you can only ban 1 of each role per map.
That's correct.
What do you think Northwestern is thinking about in terms of bans?
Well, if Terps Academy do go with the Cassidy ban, Northwestern will have to look to the tank or support lines to find a hero ban, but I'm not sure if they've really faced anything that is really worth banning. So they'll probably potentially ban out maybe a tank, maybe a support. It's hard to tell at the moment. Both teams ran the Zarya and the Kiriko and Wu Yang and Lucio. So both, I mean, all very staple heroes. So we'll see what Northwestern does with their ban.
Absolutely. A dominant map 1 from Northwestern Purple. They'll look to keep it forward as we wait for Maryland to submit their second map pick.
And as a reminder, the next map type is hybrid. So Maryland will have the opportunity to select Nimbani, Kings Row, Midtown, or Hollywood.
A very wide diversity of playstyles you can go for, whether it's King's Row with that brawl heavy, Numbani with that traditional dive centric map. I have to imagine that Terps won't want to will want to take advantage of any map that gives them mobility. As some of the success they did find on Oasis was being able to pin down Dryce and find those early picks on him and turn the fight quickly before he's able to put in consistent damage as he was.
Yeah, what do you think they'll go for in terms of the map pick? Do you think they'll go for a more brawly type or a more divey type?
I think they're gonna go for a more divey type, if I had to guess. I think New Bonnie is a map that really doesn't suit Cassidy well if they don't decide to just outright ban it. And it looks like
Ooh,
they're gonna submit
King's
King's
Row.
Row.
Wow, so they're taking the brawl right to Northwestern. Maybe another Zarya matchup here.
Absolutely. They may not be familiar with Houdini's Rhine. He definitely has Rhine in his pool, but they may be looking to get after Houdini and the impact he had on Zarya. We'll have to see how Terps and Northwestern decide to play this.
Yeah, little birdie once told me that Houdini hit 4.5k on Rhine, so might be one to look out for
Absolutely.
if the Zarya gets banned.
Absolutely. It'll be interesting to see what Northwestern chooses and Terps choose to ban on the back of this as well. Northwestern White also is playing their match right now as well. Northwestern Purple and White both competing in the ranked division. We will have those results for you as we are able to receive them. Northwestern White also with a heavily revamped roster looking to start out strong against Wisconsin Green Bay.
It looks like they did fall on map 1, Busan to the University of Wisconsin Green Bay, their varsity roster. So it looks like it's the 0-1 right now in that series.
I see. Hopefully Northwestern White can bounce back, but in the meantime, Northwestern Purple is flipping sides and we'll be hopefully going soon into King's Row.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I saw any hero bans yet, so probably still deliberating over that.
Yeah.
On a side note here, I wonder if Terps Academy might switch up the Lucio. The sound barrier generation has been a little slow, maybe attributed due to the damage nerf that Lucio received in one of the previous patches. But we saw a lot more value coming out from the Wu Yang, so we'll see if Terps Academy can go to the Wu Yang.
Absolutely. Really finding value with all that damage output and really being able to just overpower Terps Academy and that ultimate just getting so much value, basically sending in the Tracer as just a sort of dive bomber, just getting that knockdown on 2 or 3 people, generating so much value with that crowd control ability.
Yeah, and we saw some of that damage coming out as well. A lot of crucial picks coming out from Edger. I think there was one fight where he killed 2 or 3 just by himself with the amount of damage those orbs can have.
Absolutely.
It does look like a Cassidy band coming out from King's Row, if my eyes are not deceiving me.
Apologies, we do not have a monitor directly in front of us to be able to see some of that, but it looks like a Cassidy ban is coming out, I believe, from Terps Academy. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prod. Yep, they will be banning Cassidy. Really a target ban against Dryce, you would have to think.
Yeah.
Dryce just able to find so much value with that silver bullet and just with that consistent damage output, especially with all those headshots we keep seeing him hit.
Yeah, I wonder what we'll see Dryce on for this map. He's a very good Ashe as well, has a Hanzo in his locker, but he has shown some promise in the flex DPS department if they decide to go double flex, so we could potentially see a Tracer Genji backline or even Tracer Reaper.
Absolutely. I would think a Tracer Reaper would be slightly more likely. That Hanzo, again, is also one of his former signature heroes, although it appears he has forsaken it for the ways of the cowboy. So we shall see what Northwestern decides to run. It appears that they are still deliberating on their hero bans as well.
Yeah, I wonder what they'll ban here. Not a lot of information to go off of
Yep.
for Terps Academy.
Northwestern given either the option of banning a tank or banning a support. Which do you think that they're gonna go for?
It's hard to say. I think both rosters will probably look to stay on that Zarya comp, as well as a Kiriko, and probably just a Lucio and a Wu Yang for each team. So it's kind of hard to see. It's kind of hard to tell. I think we might potentially see a tank ban.
It looks like a Lucio ban is coming out from Northwestern. Really just going all in on Etcher's Wu Yang ability.
Yeah, I have heard he's doing a little practicing in the ranked lobbies, so it's nice to see that he's gotten quite a good pick for him.
Absolutely. Do you think this affects any team's ability to play Brawl in these sorts of comps? Do you think anyone is going to be really missing that Lucio? We saw Terps run it, but do you think that'll be a big factor in this map?
Yeah, I'm not too sure what Yellowist hero pool is, but as we saw on the previous map on the Lucio, the sound barrier generation was a little slow. As we on the first map, only got to 80% the entire sub map. So we'll see what Yellowist goes on to here. Maybe potentially to match the Wu Yang, or even go to something like a Brig, for example, to help live.
Absolutely. You have to imagine that they would just mirror the Wu Yang.
Yeah, I would think so as well.
Yeah.
The ultimate is really good. The damage numbers are really good, and he has a lot of good self-sustain. So
Absolutely.
we'll see if Yellowist has it in their locker.
Absolutely. Really looking forward. It appears that we are beginning to go.
Both teams ready. I wonder if we'll see any tank variation coming out from Odini. As we mentioned, he has a pretty good Rhine as well as a pretty good Hazard. So both. Oh, and a substitution here.
Last minute
One
substitution.
step ahead, coming in at the last minute for Northwestern Purple.
Absolutely. One step ahead is coming in from Northwestern's Calling All Heroes and Overwatch Black teams. A player really picked up on to be very improved over this past summer and this past year.
Yeah. Another flex support for this roster. We do have multiple, but I think we'll see a Kiriko coming out from one step ahead. That's that signature hero right there.
Absolutely. Northwestern Purple is very loaded on backup supports. We have a five-person support rotation.
Always be there for me.
Yeah, and of course Penguin Cast is away at the moment, attending the volleyball game. Honestly. So, poor at the moment, but we do have plenty of options to choose from.
Absolutely. We love to see our digital athletes supporting our physical athletes. Northwestern Volleyball having a wonderful season this year, really starting out strong, and we're gonna see the Hazard come out from Terps Academy. And it looks like they're gonna go for that Genji Reaper composition. Dryce is going to appear to look to be starting on that Ashe, trying to maintain that hit scan prowess.
I feel like it would be pretty difficult here on the Ashe. As Azure falls right away to the poke damage from Huntsman. And Azure is back to the field.
Absolutely. Azura having lots of big moments, but ultimately had some difficulties dealing with that tracer from Huntsman. We'll see how he chooses to adapt as we go into this upcoming engagement.
Yeah, and you see how Northwestern supports their Ashe here. Not a lot of support for the Ashe, especially into a double flex DPS competition and into a Hazard. So we'll see what they can do to help Dryce get angles and get some picks.
Absolutely. Etcher falling very low. You're gonna see the Hazard take a big engage, and Etcher will fall, but they will trade him out for bruises. Although Huntsman will take a dive. Huntsman really finding these engagements.
And there's Houdini finding another crucial trade.
Very scrappy fight coming out for both sides. It looks like Northwestern will get some point progress.
Yeah, it does look like a 3-on-3 at the moment, but North Academy is just postured on different high grounds. So they get that touch in, but Houdini has a touch in as well, so he's taking invested. Oh, hits that car.
Unfortunate grab use with Houdini, but it looks like it won't matter. It looks like one step ahead is going to mirror that rush, and Northwestern looks to clean up on the back of that damage output from Dryce hopping over to the Reaper.
Yeah, an unfortunate grab there, but it all worked out in the end. Both rushes expended from these two teams. We are approaching Wu Yang ultimates for both sides, as well as the Genji Blade for Terps Academy. So just one to look out for.
What's up?
Absolutely. Huntsman being able to provide a lot of damage in those early fights and find those picks onto perhaps that backline or that Tracer.
Looks like Western's taking a lot of the flanks away early.
Absolutely. They're going to be taking an interesting rotation, and it looks like they may catch Huntsman out. But it looks like he'll get away.
Oh, an pulse bomb thrown in by Azure, but it goes wide.
Azure sits to engage. Rice able to come that hit.
That was that ultimate explained by Etcher there. Absolutely. He does find two trades. So it looks like they are up at the moment. And there goes Dryce, chasing down the backline.
Yeah. Despite the Wu Yang Ajax coming out from Etcher, it looks like they're going to be unable to pin down Houdini, and that consistent damage will
My
just
ultimate is charging.
force through the backline and the health bars of Maryland Academy, and it looks like Northwestern is able to get a lot more damage on this point.
Yeah. And both Reapers now do have the death blossom. That was going a little earlier, but Dryce close and 100%. And that's another fight win for Northwestern. Dryce with that early death blossom. And that's a way to turn it up.
Absolutely. Dryce just finding so much damage on with that Death Blossom.
Yeah, and an impressive Kiriko ultimate lead from one step ahead, already having theirs. Although only sitting at 68%.
And that Zarya is going to get chunked down. They're going to have to use so many abilities just to keep him up.
Yeah,
it looks like
resources.
absolutely. Northwestern will get stun push out of that. Not a whole lot.
That rush. Zarya just sitting up in that early. Absolutely. It's close. Huntsman does find the trade onto one step ahead. Houdini with 3 hits there.
Able to keep pushing through. No one is really checking Houdini in all of these engagements. You see Breezes just fall so low early on in those fights, and so many abilities have to be spent. You just don't even see that for Houdini. He's able to just push through pretty much unopposed. Another pulse bomb goes wide for Zero.
We call this sports, so there's a blade and Kitsune rush expended from the first time. But Houdini does find that pick. Live Blade was very vulnerable. Houdini made sure to take advantage of that.
As rush expires, you'd think that Northwestern would want to go soon and push that advantage. It looks like Azura is going to be hit with that ultimate.
Oh, the double bubble coming in. He does find that pick onto the Wu Yang. But Kiriko falling low as well. Azure in the back line just testing the enemy team.
Continuing to be a nuisance in that back line. There is nothing that Terps can do, and they will cap with nearly 3 minutes in the time bank.
What an impressive push from Northwestern Purple there. Just brilliant ult usage and staying ahead on the ult economy as well.
Absolutely.
Initiating
Even if Azura is unable to find some of these picks, some of the pressure he's able to generate, especially with that ultimate from Etcher on the Wu Yang, he's able to just create so much space, even though he's not the tank.
Yeah, of course. We'll see what Terps Academy do here. They are facing a 3-minute time bank, or 2 minutes and 59 seconds, I should say,
Absolutely.
on the time bank. We'll see what they pull out there on their attack.
Yeah, Huntsman bright spot really on this Maryland team, able to find so many good picks early on, but just the sheer cohesion of Northwestern Purple is not enough to outweigh the damage he's able to do on that backline and on checking that tracer from Azure.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like they might be going for a Sim competition here. Sim is pretty good on King's Row and TPing into the high ground, getting the bulk of their team into great positioning, especially on this side where Azure is standing right now, walking up to that height and taking the high ground where one step ahead and Edge are situated currently could be the game plan here for Torps Academy.
Absolutely. We'll see. They're going to go with that Sim Reaper. Northwestern holding steady with that Reaper and with that Tracer.
Yep, Zarya in there as well. Yep, and then there goes that teleport to the high ground, going very early here.
Looking to really put down Etcher. Northwestern's gonna back on this. They may be unable to catch Etcher. Dryce is just going to TP there.
Yeah, but it does look a little rough for Northwestern at the moment. Not much positioning. Maybe they'll look to flip the map.
Yep. Terps is able to take Hotel. It looks like.
Yeah, the map is currently flipped. A little bit of point pressure, not much. Dryce drops in from the back line. But not much success at the moment. One step ahead, going a little low. But there goes Bam. That's his Wraith Step force. 1 HP.
So much pressure.
Dryce is there to pick it up, and that's the opening pick on this fight.
It's Reaper Friday if your name is Dryce.
Yeah, it's always Reaper Friday.
Northwestern Purple is going to force the Reaper.
Late stagger onto Huntsman, who couldn't get out in time. Yeah, to put another template to Academy's time back.
Absolutely.
Let's look at the ultimate situation here. One step ahead, a little lacking behind on the Kitsune rush front, but Houdini having a solid, almost 2x lead on the ground.
Absolutely. Everyone's just doing their job here from Northwestern Purple, but it does mean that they're going to be a little lacking on this ultimate bank.
Yeah, and that early rush from Torps Academy, but they are falling low, so we'll see if they can, if Northwestern can find a pick. So grab invested, let's see where it lands. Not too sure where it is. That's that Wu Yang ultimate invested from Torps Academy, but Eugenie has already found two in the back line. Hector is traded out, but Breezes falls, Cam finds Azure. It's so scrappy right now, but it does look like Northwestern coming out with the fight.
There's Houdini's lagging a little. Northwestern may have lost some people, and the spawns will ultimately benefit Maryland, but Maryland's just unable to find any value with some of these ultimates that they expend. And Dryce is going to get a pick early on the camp. Maryland is just staggering. Will they be able to regroup in time for a push?
Yeah, and that was both support ultimates expended in that last fight, so they have really nothing to work with on that front, but they do have a grab and a single ultimate. See if they can do it. Bryce is forced out, has to shift away. There's a TP into the back line, and a grab. Huntsman falls again.
It's still nothing!
And Dryce with a clean Death Blossom. It's another fight back for Northwestern.
You'd think Northwestern was the one who expended the grab. Everyone just disappeared so quickly from Maryland's side.
Yeah, definitely. Two ultimates still left though for Torps Academy, and maybe they can pull out a rush.
Absolutely. Northwestern did have to expend two ultimates there, so you'd think that...
Very early sim ultimate here. Azure does have to post point now. Houdini just zones out this damage. Dryce forces out damage. Why?
These supports are so low from Northwestern.
Oh, and full top connects for Azure. Trading out one step ahead. So that's the DPS line gone for Torps Academy.
In spite of all the pressure put on Northwestern, Bryce is able to eliminate that sim and make it much easier for Houdini to have peace of mind, and it looks like Terps are down to their last dying breath on King's Row.
Cam still has that Death Blossom. We'll see if that throws a wrench into Northwestern's full plans. The ball goes in for the touch. Cam just putting pressure into the point. TP's in. Looks like looking for Death Blossom. Oh, and he finds two crucial picks here. Houdini spends the grab. And that's every ultimate thrown in from Maryland Terps Academy.
Let
Northwestern still had 3 on the board.
Terps Academy unable to capitalize on that Death Blossom, and Northwestern Purple is going to take map 2.
Yeah, and in dominant fashion as well on the defense. Holding Terps Academy only to 2 points.
Really just comes off the power of these Kitsune rushes, these blossoms. Northwestern is just finding so much more advantage in their ultimate economy, and Maryland is unable to comparatively provide much value at all for any of their graviton surges, any of their Kitsune rushes. Really, it's only those DPS players from Terps Academy finding picks, but it ends up being all for naught as the backline of Terps Academy falls to the sheer output of damage that Houdini and Dryce are just able to put out.
And it does look like the next map type will be Flashpoint, so 2 very brawl-centered maps for these potential match point, or should I say match point? For
Absolutely.
Northwestern.
And Dryce will be able to return to his Cassidy. I am fairly certain that you are unable to ban multiple heroes in consecutive maps. So Dryce will be able to return to his signature hero in spite of the win through the ban of his signature hero.
Yeah, I wonder what Terps Academy will look for in terms of bans. Maybe potentially a Zarya enforcing a hazard mirror, as the Zarya mirror hasn't been working out too well.
Do you think they're going to restructure their play to be able to capitalize more on these picks that that Huntsman rather and Cam are able to find?
I would say it's a little difficult to do. I don't think they'll shake up too much in their comp, especially with how optimized basically the composition has been. I think it just has to come down to cleaning up those fights. As we saw, Cam had 2 in that last fight for Terps Academy, but they couldn't clean it up in the end.
Absolutely. Just able to provide so much value in those DPS picks, but ultimately the survivability of Northwestern Purple is shining through. One step ahead, and Etcher, while they do provide a lot of value in terms of some of the picks they're able to get, the real value is just the ability to stay mobile, stay shifty. Northwestern hasn't really had any of those early picks that we've seen. For example, in map 1, Dryce was able to find so many instantaneous picks. It's really only been Azura that they've been able to pin down.
Yeah, it does look like 2 substitutions coming in here for Terps Academy. Yellows and Huntsman making way to the bench. Oh, never mind.
They are joining back in a second, sorry.
And a score update on Northwestern White. They fell on Kings Row, so it is now 0-2 in their series. Now potentially looking at Survasa, looking to bring things back.
Thanks to the wonders and the glory of the Northwestern academic calendar, these teams are very fresh. I believe Northwestern Purple had their first scrimmage, their first practice last night as a roster, and Northwestern White was only able to practice on Monday night. So these are both teams that are really coming in, hoping to grow into some of this cohesion as the quarter goes along. But for now, Northwestern Purple showing that some of that cohesion is already there, as Dryce and Houdini are thoroughly dominating Terps Academy. But it looks like Northwestern White still has room to grow against UW Green Bay.
Yeah, but Northwestern Purple on a very strong start here, looking to get their first win of the season in a pretty tough division in the GM1 and below division.
Absolutely.
I assume.
Northwestern Purple falling just short of the requirement to play in PCL's Premier Division, but they will be some of the top dogs to be reckoned with in this ranked division. Northwestern White also competing in the middle of PCL's ranked division as well. The move to PCL, formerly Playfly, Northwestern Overwatch has been veterans of Playfly Esports and formerly NACE Star League, notably Northwestern White winning Playfly, their NACE Star League division with some of these players actually Dries, Azure, and Etcher, all all veterans of that roster that won it all against Iowa Black, as well as one of our casters.
Yep. Lily on the casting couch.
It's me. I won it all.
And we also have it's worth mentioning that that same core, Trice, Azure, and Etcher, came just short of a first place finish in the Open Plus division, I believe, last season against the University of Hawaii, just falling to them in the grand finals. So they took home a second place in that division last year.
Absolutely. So a lot of winning experience in this Northwestern program. Even if they're just beginning to step up to this varsity level, they know what it takes to have that competitive edge, and you're going to see that carried through with Houdini as well on the tank. Very competent player throughout the years as well. This flex support position, perhaps a little unproven, but still looks to be just as competitive and hopes to shine just as much. And we'll see Sen stepping back in for one step ahead. Northwestern really getting a rotation, getting some play time for some of these younger flex supports.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll see Cold today. Cold is another one of our flex supports on this roster. Also very decent Kiriko in that locker as well. So, but not sure if we'll see him today.
Absolutely. Cold, another one of our rookies.
A lot to look forward to.
Yep, absolutely. It's a very different roster from what it looked like last year. Losing Charybdis to graduation, losing Bizarre to graduation,
Sabbath to
Sabbath choosing
school.
to Sabbath choosing to step down, losing Maze Mel as she pursues glory in the tier 3 level.
Mhm. So a lot of fresh faces, but it's
Absolutely.
looking good here for the very first match of this new core.
Absolutely. And of course, cannot forget losing Mega Riolu to graduation
Of
as well.
course. The glorious captain.
Absolutely.
Speaking of captains, I wonder if Houdini will make the call to take himself out for Hana today.
Absolutely. Hana, another young and rising talent on. What do you play again?
On the tank roll.
Okay, I knew
I've been
that.
pushed into air tanks, as Houdini does not like to deal with flying around on Diva. And Ball.
Absolutely.
And potentially the Mauga, because Houdini also does not love playing Mauga. But it looks like boss calls are not going to be made today. Houdini will play, as well as Sen. Stepping back in.
Houdini will stay in, and the double cast will live on forever.
Yeah, I'll always be here.
I love that.
I think we're just waiting on a PC issue, I believe, from Terps Academy. Surabasa. What do you feel like both teams will run on this map?
Well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I think that Northwestern Purple will try to reinsert the Cassidy into their compositions, but I can't imagine that they're really going to change much going into this map. It'll be interesting to see how Terps chooses to approach this, see if they feel they can execute better. They were having some success, again, with some of those DPS picks, and they were able to win certain fights, and we even saw Gardens on Oasis go to double 99%, and it looks like it was almost in their hands until Rice pulled out that insane 3K clutch. So Terps Academy definitely not out of this. They just have to keep playing smart and have to understand how to limit the impact that Dries and Houdini are having and be able to finally pin down that backline, whether it's Sen one step ahead or Etcher.
Yeah, they did look really good on that second sub map on Control, taking a lot of fight wins off of Northwestern Purple. But I think it is a little bit attributed to the fact that Dries was playing Cassidy, which is a pretty significant dive target, as we can say, for that double flex DPS line for Terps Academy. So if they do, if Northwestern does roll on the cast, we might see a bit of a closer match. But that Reaper really just dominating that mirror matchup on that last map on King's Row.
It'll be interesting to see how Terps Academy chooses to respond. Azura being a constant presence in that backline, but we haven't seen him quite dominate the same way you'd expect Proper to
Yeah.
dominate on Tracer. It'll be interesting to see how they choose to game plan around him, because although he's been getting some of these early picks, some of this brunt of these early picks, he's still been present in a lot of these fights, getting that insane 4K pulse bomb on Oasis.
I think it's just the threat of that pressure and of that like the threat of just falling first to that tracer is just enough for Azure to get enough value. Just being in that
Absolutely.
back line, especially pinching when Houdini or Dryce walks in, is just so lethal that I think that pressure's just enough at the moment.
Absolutely. Do you think Huntsman needs to change his game plan perhaps? Do you think that he needs to give Azura a little more breathing room and instead focus on really pinning down Sen, Etcher, one step ahead, whoever Northwestern chooses to put in? It appears to be Sen and Etcher for Survasa. Do you think he really should dedicate more of his focus to trying to pin down some of these supports?
Well, the Kiriko Wu Yang backline is pretty hard to hit as
Absolutely.
yeah, they have both very good survivability. So I would say Huntsman just needs to focus on winning that flex DPS duel, which they have been doing for the majority of the match. I think
Most
map
definitely.
control is won and lost through those battles. So I think Huntsman just needs to just keep up what they're doing. Yeah, and an interesting we I believe Cam was on the Reaper for the last two maps, right? So it does
Yeah.
look like support swaps. Harry and Propi.
It appears to.
Yeah, I believe Boba and Yellowist stepped out for these two new additions. So looks like a brand new backline for Terps Academy.
Absolutely. We'll see if they're able to provide any more pressure on. We would likely assume the Kiriko and the Wu Yang, given how much success Northwestern and how much the meta has really shifted towards that Kiriko Wu Yang backline.
Mm-hmm.
Although it appears that Terps is going to be banning Kiri, taking that pick out of Sen's pocket.
That does throw a wrench into the traditional broad comp. Kiri has been a mainstay for a lot of those comps. So we'll see what both teams come up with. Flex support options could be Ana. Maybe we might see a Bap, and like we might run like a Baptiste and a Lucio, but we'll have to see what both teams pull out here. It is an interesting ban.
Absolutely. Etcher is getting that Lucio back, although he may choose to stick with the Wu Yang, but he is very well known as being a Lucio player otherwise. So it'll be interesting to see how Northwestern chooses to respond to that Kiri. Do you think this hurts Northwestern too bad?
I'd say a little bit. It does throw a wrench into their plans, especially with that Kiriko having so much utility. We might see an Ana, which does force a little different gameplay for both teams, depending on what they might look for in terms of hits. And it does
Absolutely.
look like a Genji ban coming out from Northwestern Purple.
Yes.
Probably taking that away from Huntsman, who looks pretty lethal in that hero.
Yes. Genji ban, I definitely say would it be a good pick for Northwestern. Azure and Dryce, not really people known for their Genji. I believe Dryce saying he doesn't play Genji at all, and Azure really dedicating most of his time on DPS to Tracer. So taking that out of Terps Academy's hands after Huntsman found the success he did on Genji, I would say is a good call.
Yeah. Are we potentially seeing another Reaper here, or potentially a cast for Dryce?
I would say Trice will probably want to lean on that cast as much as he can.
Yeah.
It's definitely more of a comfort pick for him, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see him hop over to that Reaper if he's constantly getting forced out and needs that survivability
Yeah.
while keeping
definitely.
that brawl damage. I have to assume that Northwestern won't want to change their play style given how much it suits them.
Yeah, and Joyce always has the option of going back to the Reaper, and he looked pretty good on it as well. So if things don't work out for him in the hit scan department, he can always go back to that Reaper. And it does look like Houdini has selected the Chinese flag,
Oh boy.
so representing that Asian heritage. Um,
Yeah.
Looks
Leading.
like both teams are almost ready to go. We're waiting on the Terps, I believe.
Yes, waiting on Terps. It'll be interesting to see if Trice chooses a country flag as well to represent the nations of the world.
Yeah, quite a diverse roster we have.
Absolutely.
Do you think we might see a switch up in the tank matchup here? Maybe Houdini showing off a little bit of that hazard.
We may. I feel that the Kiriko ban honestly might make Houdini lean on Zarya even more, given the ability to cleanse if Terps end up going to that Ana, as we've talked about. Perhaps they're a huge proponent of Baptiste.
Yeah, as we mentioned earlier, it is a brand new backline for Terps Academy, so don't really know what to expect here.
As we're waiting, we'd like to thank all of you who have come out to join us on our first broadcast. We're hoping to bring you more coverage of these Northwestern Overwatch matches, as well as continuing the coverage of our Northwestern Valorant and Northwestern Super Smash Brothers matches and tournaments. Really thankful for the ability to have this amazing game room. Our producer, Daniel, has put in a tremendous amount of work getting this ready for us. And we'd like to thank everyone at Norris, everyone responsible for helping us get the Nexus Gaming Lounge.
Yep. Shout out to Shannon Tan, the president of the esports club.
Shout out to
Great
Shannon
guy.
Tan. Northwestern Student Affairs recently publishing a big piece. Okay.
Looks
Our
like,
amazing producer
K-Box.
Daniel has finally gotten us the chat on our awesome Caster TV, and we'd like to shout out K-Box.
He's asking us a ChatGPT-esque question. We are not AI. AI will not be taking our jobs, hopefully.
I do not support AI, except for when I do.
Yep, K-Box, one of our Valorant Purple members, having their first match, I think, tomorrow.
Absolutely.
So, one to look out for.
Absolutely.
Looks like we did get a flag from Dryce. I'm not sure how to
Oh.
identify that flag.
That's the bisexual flag, and Sen has changed to the non-binary flag. I personally support that
Great flag.
as a non-binary person.
Shout out. I'm not sure if. Okay. You know what,
Sure.
K-Box?
Here's a summary of the MVP of the last 2 games.
Dryce, Reaper, and Cass. There you go. I think that's all you really need to know.
Yeah, I would say Trice. Everyone's hopping in with the flags.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Houdini just put out the lesbian flag.
That is the lesbian flag. Okay,
little
we're going into
interesting.
game. Rolling out on Servasa.
Initiating match.
Excited to see Northwestern can close it out and get the sweep over Terps Academy, or if Terps Academy will fight back. Or if Houdini will choose the wrong bands.
Looks like we might have to go back to the lobby for this one. Houdini with a little error.
Battle.
On the go.
Incredible, we can talk more about pride flags.
Thank
Just
you,
kidding,
Houdini.
we're going.
Traveling to Sulawesi. Initiating
It looks like we are good to go. So, as a reminder, the Kiriko was banned by Terps Academy, and the Genji banned out by Northwestern.
Yep. Has there always been water that pretty on that point?
No, I believe it was a recent map rework
Okay.
when they changed some parts of the map, but they added water here. So, real interesting change.
ready for battle.
Not as
see
quick as I used to
Opie
be,
hovering
but
over
I'm
Moira
still
on
the
Terps Academy.
fastest gun in the
Has
New
been a
West.
pretty good selection.
It appears they're gonna
when
stick with
Kiriko
that.
was banned. Yeah.
I have to imagine. It looks like Terps Academy is really going to switch to that dive comp.
Based off what we saw though, it did look like Terps Academy had a
The match is on quick play settings.
looks like Houdini might need to.
It's the Flashpoint quick
Yeah.
play bug. We're so back.
But we did see a Lucio on Terps Academy compared to just a Ana Wu Yang for Northwestern. So very large tempo difference in terms of how fast both teams want to take their engages.
Traveling to Surabasa. Initiating
As we enter the map for the third time, hopefully third time's the charm here.
Surely. As always, if you're joining us over Twitch or YouTube, you can find us on YouTube at NU Esports. You can find us on Twitch at Northwestern Esports. You can find us on Instagram at Northwestern Esports. You can find us on Twitter at NU Esports.
ready
It appears that Terps Academy is going to be sticking with that dive comp. Northwestern, perhaps not showing their true picks, but it looks like we have to assume that Houdini is going to be sticking with this Zarya.
A Vishkar architect always completes
Yeah,
a
here's the
task to
health is right.
perfection.
Физкульт, привет! Привет!
Looks like Dryce is still in that Heroes Like phase, but ultimately going over to that Cassidy. So a bit slow for a comp here for Northwestern Purple. Just that Tracer we can really zip around in the back. Houdini just really being the protector, I guess, with all this. Helping her against the Cam Tracer. Potentially hide some.
Absolutely. You're going to see this Ana come out from Northwestern, as we mentioned. Looking to provide lots of value with that empties, but it looks like Turks setting up for his dive.
From Hunter onto that back line, forcing him into weird positioning, and there gets that pick. Good sweep though from Sen to find that pick.
Absolutely. It looks like this damage, even if they're able to find that pick onto Sen, they're going to be able to clean up. Escher's still able to survive it as long as he's around, and as long as this DPS is, this damage line and this tank line from Northwestern is out and about, they're going to be able to clean up some of these fights.
Yeah, as you saw though, Bryce probably just melted there into that hazard. Just hitting that slash, going right towards it, and still melted. So,
Looks like Escher's able to find that first pick on the Moira.
wow, but it doesn't matter. Bryce has found 3 picks here. To clean up this
Absolutely.
second fight. Huntsman trying to get out with their life. Looks like Northwestern will give chase.
Huntsman will survive the stagger, and Dryce just finding so much consistent value with this Cassidy.
Yeah, already a high noon. Very strong zoning ultimate here. Potentially push away some of this aggression.
Let's look to engage again. Once we see that we're going to be able to find some of these early picks. We really need to move fast, otherwise we're going to last.
Lying down this backline, straight off the Cassidy. Falls very low and gets melted at the end. Nitro falls dangerously low though, but it doesn't matter. Just under 2 clean picks.
Dryce is just cleaning up.
Wow. It's just like another round of Kovacs.
Absolutely
3 picks on that
unstoppable.
fight.
Palace.
Let's muster.
And
the
not to be
next
overlooked,
objective.
Azura is also winning these Tracer duels against Cam. That's been moving over to the Venture, meaning Cam is the one to pick up the slack and is failing to assert the same dominance over Azura that Huntsman is sort of able to. And Azura is really able to find a lot of early value.
Early hits from Azura. Looking for that Lucio. So it falls very low, and Azura gets everything to pick up.
What a beautiful ultimate from Etcher. Really just finding, just getting that pick onto the Venture too. Absolutely wonderful play with that ultimate, with that survivability. Etcher's just looked very impressive on this Wu-Yang.
Yeah. I did mention the Ana might be a bit of a problem to help out, but it's looking out okay. for Northwestern.
Yeah. Getting that first pick on the first fight for
Another crucial pick. More ultimates on the board here. Northwestern. Super invested here, but they've already gone up one, so you might imagine that they'll save these for the next fight.
absolutely. Rice just looking impressive. Really transcending the barriers of rank.
Yeah, I believe he is. Oh, here comes a downpour.
Absolutely.
Sander is spinning as well, but two members have already fallen for the Turks.
The grab, the anti, finest quality entertainment coming out here from Northwestern Purple.
Quite a costly fight though. Northwestern did expend that Graviton Surge and that mana boost.
But with the speed of this cap, we'll have to see.
Yeah, I think it'll be up to Cam. But Reese is doesn't have much use. See that jump. Wow, Poker just walked straight into that one.
Able to get the pick.
It's an open pick to Northwestern, but he does get fitted out by Reese's. Azuri is setting up the back lane. Does fall. Etcher finding 2, 3
Etcher finding 3.
Wow.
Just incredible stuff.
Dare I say they are 3 X factors on this Northwestern team.
Absolutely.
If Dryce is not there to pick it up, Etcher is there. If Etcher's not there, Azura is there.
Or Houdini.
Yeah,
It's
Houdini's
incredible
there.
how
And Sen is there to land those
consistent.
nades.
It's incredible how consistent Houdini and Sen have been playing on this map. Yet there's just simply 3 incredible performances coming out from Etcher, Rice, and Azure.
Reverse the time! Look at that hit this year. Azura doesn't seem to find anything though. That's always good.
Just finding so much space, perhaps a little early on that, but you have Trice,
Yeah.
and he kills everyone. So
Just let Dryce take the wheel. There's another open pick. The Turk are pretty set. Not too sure what the Terps ult bank is looking like right now, but we do see a pulse bomb for Cam, so let's see if he can hit it. This falls to that pressure.
you're gonna
Straights coming up all around.
feels like an ill-advised odd dive from Terps. They're able, although it may not matter. Cam is finding some of these picks.
Azuri is low. Let's see if he can clean this up. Recall of course. Does find 3, but is it enough?
Cam is able to find these picks, but he might not have the help in order to fully close out this point. They're going to go for the
Just leave this Hazard out in the open. That will be a map win.
Hazard all goes wide. Last second beat from Perry, hoping to stall this out any longer, but it looks to be a dominant showing from Northwestern. The last second touches come in. Appears like it won't be enough. The wrecking ball falls.
Staying in the third map for Northwestern Purple. 3-0.
3-0 for Northwestern Purple.
Look at that scoreboard there.
Gathering energy.
Absolutely.
That is the series win for Northwestern Purple. A clean 3-0 to start the season.
Absolutely. And Northwestern Purple just finding their footing more and more as this game went on and being able to Rice has just been a consistent performer all game. But Northwestern as a group has just really looked dominant throughout their entire showing.
I agree. I think next week, the Wildcats will face LSU. I think.
Absolutely. Northwestern looking to make a grand statement in the Play versus College League, starting out 3-0 against the Maryland Terps Academy team. Incredible stuff. We'd like to thank you here from the caster booth. My name is Lily C. Major Growth, joined here by Colin Hana Wong. Thank you so much for joining us on our first cast. Hopefully more to come. Thank you very much. This is Northwestern Overwatch signing off. Have a good night, everyone.